I started my realization journey of becoming my own boss. And I realized that for 30 years, I don't know whom I was working for. I never knew myself. I was only driven by the passion to work, which I see all around the world today. People are driven by their passion to work. There's nothing wrong in it.
Yeah.
But while doing so, if you lose yourself, if you lose your real self, then there is an issue.
Are you one of those who find it difficult to switch off from your work while you're on vacation? Well, you're not alone. There was a survey done globally across 11 countries, and it was found that 57% of the participants found it difficult to switch off from work while they were on vacation, just because they're either workaholics, or they were too stressed about the work, or they were worried about what's going to happen. Just because of the work pressure, they were worried about what's going to happen to their work. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, our guest this week is Navneet Kampani, a gentleman who has been in the banking industry for over 30 years, and he is now helping individuals find a work-life balance. And not just a work-life balance, but also find purpose in life and give a better meaning to their life. Navneet, thank you so much for taking our time and joining us here on the Be Your Own Boss podcast. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm really humbled to be here. And I'm more than happy to share my thoughts with your audience and general public, because I feel it's a very, very important subject that has been evading us for years and years. It's very important that we discuss these things.
Absolutely. And it's time to bring this subject out in the global forum. But like we always do on the Be Your Own Boss podcast, let's start with your story right from the beginning. Tell us about your parents, your siblings, where were you born, and your childhood memories. Let's start with that.
Oh, I have had a very exciting childhood. I was born in a small town in Gwalior in Madhya Pradesh. My father was serving in railways, and that's where he was in a transferable job. So I was born in Gwalior. I was partly raised in Gwalior till I was just about 3-year-old.
Okay.
And then my father got transferred to various locations. But most of my education I completed in a very, very interesting place called Devlali, near Nasik.
Near Nasik, yes.
Now, Devlali is very famous because India's largest artillery center and school of artillery is based out of Devlali and Nasik.
Yeah.
So I grew up in the company of kids of army officers, and always felt being part of army, being grown there. And that's where I spent most of my schooling. And from there, I went to Pune to do my engineering. The question is, why did I go to do my engineering? I still haven't found the answer. Because at that point in time, it was parents who used to decide where will the kid go.
You either become a doctor or an engineer. No other choice.
So I had both the opportunities. I did qualify for BDS, which is the dental services. But dentist at that point in time was not a very acceptable form of medicines that one would do. I'm being very candid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So the other beautiful option available for me was to be an engineer. So I went into engineering. I completed my engineering for 4 years. But while I was in school and in engineering, I was a theater buff.
Okay.
So I started doing theater when I was in college.
Oh, wow.
And I was mentored in theater by a very renowned cartoonist, Mr. Prabhakar Wadekar from Pune. Unfortunately, he's not amongst us now. Prabhakar used to write a little cartoon strip in newspaper called Chintu. It is very famous in Maharashtra. He used to write this cartoon strip called Chintu. So he mentored me into theater. We used to do street theaters. So I did a lot of street theaters in Pune. And then again, the diktat came from parents, what are you doing? You're wasting your life. You've done engineering. After doing engineering, you're not meant to be a theater artist or be on the roads. So I was pushed into doing my MBA. So I did my MBA. I did my MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Business Management, Pune.
Yeah.
While doing my MBA, I started my parallel course of law as well, which I never completed. but I gained enough knowledge to be to understand law very well, and I continued my passion of being a legal professional in 2015 when I completed my Masters of Law from University of Liverpool in International Business and Banking.
So you did fulfill that?
Yes, I did fulfill that, definitely. Wow. And in 1993, I joined the industry in Bombay. And the banking industry. Right. I was with a non-banking financial services company into corporate finance. That's where my journey started. And yes, from 1993 and till 2023, we are 30 years into banking industry, having worked with many international global banking names that I worked for. And in this entire journey, the revelation happened to me just before COVID, when I finally left my banking career and moved on the other side of the banking table by being a client. And then I saw, my God, what did I miss for 30 years? Yeah. And that's where a new phase in my life started. And COVID gave a little push, or was a catalyst in my the next phase of my journey in life. And that's where
and that's when you became your own boss. And
absolutely, right. That's where I actually became my own boss in all literal sense, not just from work perspective, but I became my own boss in true sense of mind, body and soul. So that's where I became my boss, that I, not just by work alone, that I started something very interesting, but I started to control myself, my mind. I started my realization journey of becoming my own boss. And I realized that for 30 years, I don't know whom I was working for. I never knew myself. I was only driven by the passion to work, which I see all around the world today. People are driven by their passion to work. There's nothing wrong in it. But while doing so, if you lose yourself, if you lose your real self, then there is an issue.
Yeah. Going one step back here, during your career or even before that, as a child growing up, did you have this aspiration to get into your, like, being your own boss, serve clients in a different angle? Because you come from a family of, your father used to work for the Indian Railways, and the culture was the service culture. Did you have that aspiration to become a businessman one day?
Never. I did venture in 2018. I did venture into a business, and we lost out, and took very heavy losses in that business. So never ever I thought that I would be my own boss. I loved working for corporates, multinational banks, and the passion was to grow and become the CEO of the bank, and or pick up the top-notch positions in the bank, which I did at a very young age. I did pick up those positions. Right. One of the multinational banks, I would My LinkedIn profile talks about those banks. I would not like to name it for obvious reasons, but I did rise very fast in that bank, and I was heading the Middle Eastern region for one of the global giants in banking industry.
What was that like once you become in the corporate world? I think this is one of the most common aspirations, right? That you want to rise up to the top level. Once you reach the top level, what was life like?
You are alone on the top. You're always alone. You have people around you, but they're not around you. They're around the chair that you are sitting on. They're not around you. So you are alone when you are on top. You have no friends, you have no foes, you are yourself. So you and I thank the bank that I worked for, that they nominated me to one of the most interesting and wonderful leadership development program that I was part of. It was a 2-year program, and I had a wonderful teacher there who made us realize that once you are at top, you are alone. But you are so passionate and you are so into being what you wanted to be that you don't realize at that point in time. The realization always happens at the later stage. You always learn when you fail. You don't learn when you are on your success path.
Absolutely.
Because that comes like you just growing, you just running.
And you feel good about yourself.
You feel so good about you. And I felt fantastic. I still have no regrets. I felt wonderful being in the industry. But while being in the industry itself, I had that balance of my life, which is what now I'm talking about. Because from 2005 till 2017, that's the era when every corporate honcho was carrying a BlackBerry, so that he or she can be connected. As the country head of a bank, I was also expected to have a BlackBerry. I had a BlackBerry with me, but I never used it. And my bosses never knew that I don't use my BlackBerry. And I can narrate a very interesting incident if you want to hear it. It was a very interesting. I was invited to Dubai by our divisional head for a farewell of a very senior executive who retired from the bank. And while we were in the gathering at his house, we were all joking, chatting, etc. And this gentleman who was retiring, he called everybody. He says, guys, let me share something with you. A very interesting fact which you guys don't know. I know it because I've worked with this gentleman. Because people were on their BlackBerries. So he says, you all have your BlackBerries. He said, here is the country head of your bank. He never carried a BlackBerry. And he never used the BlackBerry. And like everybody looked at me, what? You are not on BlackBerry? You don't check your work emails? And I said, sorry, I don't. So my divisional executive said, he says, Navneet, what? You don't have your BlackBerry? I said, I didn't. I said, sir, see, I can tell you one thing. You're much senior to me. You've been in the industry for, double or triple the time that I have been in the industry. But BlackBerries have come just about a decade ago. But you still worked. The banks were still running. Our bank is 200-year-old. The bank was there. So I adapted to the old culture of the bank, and I didn't carry the BlackBerry with me.
And the results are in front of you.
The results are there. Did you ever find that I lost out in anything? No, but I didn't carry the BlackBerry. So.
It kind of goes to show that you respect your personal life as well, and you respect your time of after work. Right?
It is very important. It is extremely important. While I was trying to balance, but I wouldn't say that I literally followed it. BlackBerry is just one example that I didn't carry, but I carried my office in my head. I carried my office in my head.
Yeah.
I had no work-life balance. I used to finish my office and then I used to hang around with the guys over drinks, my teams, motivating them. It was all about work. It was all about work.
Yeah.
How to grow business, because the pressure that we worked under, or the banking industry works under, and I can tell, I have been in that industry for 30 years, so I can definitely tell you that it's a very, very high pressured job.
Yeah.
That some of the banks globally have banned their staff from coming to office over weekends.
Yeah.
So there is no work-life balance, and I can see that we actually lost our identities, and I have proved it multiple times, and I can prove it right here also if you will allow me to do so. I'll ask you a simple question.
Sure.
Tell me something about yourself.
I'm a podcaster. I interview entrepreneurs. That's what I do.
There you go. You answered me
Yeah.
in half a second. I asked you, tell me something about yourself, not your profession.
Yeah.
See, top of mind. We don't know who are we. You are an individual.
You're right. My identity is associated with the work that I do.
Why? Why? You could do so many different things. You have done so many different things.
Right.
Why are we so obsessed with that we lose our identity? That is where, I have proven it, that people are so obsessed that they forget. I was in a gathering just day before, over the weekend, and we were discussing that about this itself. And one of the guests in that party, he said, we all went for a reunion and we played a game where we asked that what makes us happy. And he said the answers that came out were amazing. None of them said that my work makes me happy, my job makes me happy, what I do at work makes me happy. No, none. He said not even a single person. What makes them happy is having a cup of tea in the morning. What makes them happy? Playing with their dog. What makes them happy? I said, that's the children, family, friends, drinking, dancing. No one talked about work. So that answers my question, that we all know, we are all aware of what is going inside us. But somehow the pressure from the industries, from the corporate sector is so much that we just identify ourselves as a podcaster, as a banker.
Yeah.
The first question everybody asked me, Navneet, tell me about yourself. Oh, I'm a banker. 30 years in banking industry.
Usually the question is, when you meet someone at a business event or at a networking event or anywhere, right? Or even at your children's birthday parties, the parents, when they meet, the first question we ask is, so what do you do? Even the question itself, even before answering, the question itself revolves around what the identity, you want to associate the identity with the person.
Because of the inquisitiveness of people to know about what you do, which is irrelevant. For me, you are you. What you do as work is irrelevant for the time being when I am in the social gathering. When I am part of a business network and I come to meet you on business, it is very relevant question for me to ask, what do you do?
Yeah.
So that is the paradigm shift that we have to bring in the industry, in the mindset. I would put it in the mindset. We have to have a paradigm shift in our mindset. We have to change our paradigms completely. In Gita, we talk about sanskars. Now, these sanskars are nothing but paradigms. These paradigms get developed in a human soul. Some of the paradigms get carried from your last incarnations, and then from the age of 3 onwards, these paradigms or these fears or these insecurities uh, are being instilled by our parents, by our teachers, by friends, by our elders. A child is not afraid of touching a dog, but the moment the child goes near the dog, there comes a shout from the mom, "No, don't go near the dog." What happens is that fear comes in. So we instill that fear.
Yeah.
And that fear over a period of time becomes so embedded in us that it is in our mindset. So we become knowledgeable, but we still fear.
And I want to talk more about the work-life balance, topic here. But before that, if we go one step back, you mentioned about the business venture that you started in 2018 that didn't work. Do you want to tell us about that, because that might be very helpful for people who want to start a business, having been in the industry for having worked for 28 years. You started
The
something.
business that I started was with 2 other partners. We started an indoor sports facility in Al Khus in Dubai.
Okay.
Unfortunately, one whatever budget that we estimated, or whatever venture that we estimated, in the in the passion of setting up a business, in the passion of setting up one of a unique indoor facility, we over exceeded our budgets, which I will advise all our entrepreneurs and startup businessmen: never do that. Stick to your budget, stick to your original plan. Do not change your plans halfway through, getting excited that I can do this, I can add this, I can add this. So we kept adding things into it that took the budget out of proportion. So the project, which was supposed to be for X million dirhams, became 3X million dirhams. So we over exceeded. So one, this was the problem: never do it. Second, wrong timing, because we launched it in 2019, and 2020 we were hit by COVID. And that's where the partners panicked, and they said, we cannot put in more money because the recovery is going to be there. And finally we had to sell that venture. But the new owners who bought it now are running it fantastically. It's very successful. So the lessons that I learned from them: one is, choose your partners very carefully.
Yeah.
Second is, stick to your original plan. Don't get excited, and don't increase your budget. Stick to your budget. Third is, have a long-term plan. And fourth, most important part in any new venture or business that you go is have a tap on your expenses. One is the project cost, and second is your expenses, your running expenses, because that can make or kill the business. So this is where I failed. Then I decided I will not start any venture which is capital intensive or where you need to put in money, because I had no money for new ventures. So the next venture that I started was zero capital. Yeah. Absolutely zero capital. It was only my intellectual capital. I have been talking, thinking, and that's where during COVID my family pushed me that put your thoughts on paper, start writing. And if I can just tell you, and that's the time that I was looking at professionalism, professional life, personal life, work-life balance. So professional, so PRO came from here. and personal life. PER came here. When I put it together, it became ProPer. Proper. Oh my God, eureka moment for me. Proper.
Yeah.
If
That's
you
where
if
proper
you
comes from.
proper comes from, if you balance your professional and personal life, you are a proper individual.
Absolutely.
So I created your proper guide, my new venture.
Brilliant.
So I developed my own blog, yourproperguide.com.
Right.
I immediately created a website. My younger daughter helped me, and my elder daughter helped me too. So I wrote whatever was there in my mind about myself. I wrote whatever I was thinking, whatever was going in my mind. I was writing. So if you go and see my blog, it is very me. It's very honest. It's very transparent.
Comes straight from the heart.
Comes straight from the heart.
Yeah.
So I started writing. I started writing.
So Navneet, there was a time that came when you decided that you quit your 30-year-old career, and you quit your job and became your own boss, right? Tell us about that transition. Like, how did that decision?
Oh, very difficult transition, to be very honest.
Yeah.
Very difficult transition. When you move out, there's always so much of pressure coming onto you because you have expenses, you have family, you have liabilities. You need to take care of them. So I said yes. I stepped out. I went to Cambodia for a retreat to experience myself. And then I came back after my retreat, and I said, I will not join any organization. I will work on my own. But finding work was very difficult, very, very difficult as an advisor. I went back to my connects, my contacts, people who literally were all around me when I was with the bank. No one gave me any assignment. So in frustration, I again started interviewing for jobs. Then I did found a job with a very, very large private bank. But the day before I was supposed to collect my offer letter, I was told that I needed to tweak the business plan that I have put in place. And that's where, again, a second eureka moment happened to me, that I said, no, not the mistake again, not the mistake again. I said, no, I will put in whatever I am able to deliver. If I'm not able to deliver, I will not pick up the assignment. So I didn't pick up the assignment. I kept struggling, but I kept my motivation up. And COVID happened. So COVID happened, that gave me a relief. And that's where my third eureka moment happened, that your proper guide came out. And with your proper guide coming out, I actually started thinking differently. And that is where a catalyst came in my life, who transformed my thought process completely. And I would love to name that gentleman on your podcast, is Mr. Deepak Bhadra.
Mr. Deepak Bhadra.
Yes.
So, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you know Deepak Bhadra. If you haven't watched his episode on the Be Your Own Boss podcast, do watch it. Amazing gentleman, personally trained by Robert Kiyosaki and Bob Proctor. Fantastic story. Do check out his episode as well. And so you'll know more about Deepak Bhadra. And tell me, sir.
Yes. So I wasn't getting much assignments, and I was struggling to meet the ends. But Deepak Bhadra met me because I joined BNI. In order to get more clients, I joined BNI. And that's where I met Mr. Bhadra in my chapter. And in the first session that I had with him, he just nailed it. He says, you can, you are struggling. I'm surprised that a person like you is struggling to get business on board. And he transformed my thought process completely. And there and then I signed for one of his programs. And I told Deepak, I said, Deepak, I don't have money to pay you. He said, no worries. Don't worry. We will split the payments into 6 months installment, and that's Deepak Badra. But I want to work with you. So for 6 months, we worked with each other. And believe me, it is all in your mind here. So what I was thinking and writing in my Your Proper Guide was actually brought into practice by Deepak Badra's sessions with me, and the life started changing. So things started changing for me, for good. I was waking up very happy. I was writing my blogs. I was reading. And in next 1 year's time, I had written some 21 blogs. And slowly, I still started getting small assignments also that took care of my basic needs, family needs, etc. See, when you go through a struggle, you know how to manage within the means that are available to you. So we as a family were fortunate family to understand and learn how to manage within the means that are available. So we started managing ourselves within the means that are available.
Brilliant.
And then we became very happy because our desires came down. Our materialistic desires came down.
And happiness went up.
And happiness went up.
Brilliant.
And that's the time that I started more and more talking about ProPer. You know, our life is like a cartwheel, which has got two wheels, professional and personal wheels. And we are actually pulling that cartwheel. We need to balance it. If our professional wheel is bigger than personal wheel, you know, it will be a lopsided journey for you. If your personal is very heavy and professional is sulking, you will be a depressed individual because, again, the means will not be available to meet your ends. So one needs to balance the life. God created human being to be balanced. It is we who created this imbalance in our life.
Yeah.
And while doing so, you know, I started asking basic questions and I put it on my blog as well. Are we balanced? Are we aligned? Do we know what we want? What is happiness? Are we growing? Are we learning? Are we mindful? Ask these questions to yourself. Self-introspection. We all in corporate sector, you know, the end of the year used to be like, do your self-assessment. How did you perform? We always do that appraisal in the corporate sector.
Yeah.
Have we ever appraised our own life? How are we doing in our life? Are we really happy? Are we really happy? What is happiness? What is happiness? What is growth? You know, we have these resolutions, New Year resolutions. We always talk about New Year resolution.
Yeah.
Do we ever put a resolution for our mind and soul?
Most of it is materialistic,
Physical.
physical.
So we always talk about body. We don't talk about mind and soul. And that's where the real pandemic is today, the mental health. Mental health. We have corporate honchos dying on treadmills. There are multiple episodes of young corporate honchos succumbing while workouts, while on treks. Do we talk so much about mental health? There's a lot of bits and pieces here and there everywhere. But do we have any structured approach of addressing? When I say structured approach, see, we have a very structured approach now that the governments have put in terms of talking about the climate change.
Yeah.
There's a structured approach to it. When we talk about the economics of the world, we have structured approach where, top-notch economists, professionals from various industries, they converge in the World Economic Forum.
Yeah.
Tell me, have you heard about any World Mental Forum where mindful coaches or the congregation of people who talk about mental health or talk about work-life balance? Uh, have you heard about any of them? I haven't heard about.
No.
They may be. Pardon me, they may be. But to that scale,
Yeah.
have we ever looked at the statistics as to what is happening? There have been multiple surveys that Khaleej Times and Gulf News in Dubai have been publishing, even global magazines and research companies have published their surveys. I have always seen it's always 50% plus subjects who are surveyed are struggling
Yeah.
with their jobs. Either they want to leave their job, either they are not happy with their job. And the recent one which we saw day before yesterday in Khaleej Time, which says 57% of the people in 11 countries that were surveyed said that they carry their work with them when they go on vacation. How will you find time for your family, for your kids?
So, when you help your clients, your individuals, that you help them with their work-life balance, because we've spoken about the problem.
Yes.
Let's talk about the solution now. What's the way out? What's the solution? How are you helping them find their balance and find their purpose?
They need to. I tell them, like, that's where my approach is little different. I'm a guide. I can only guide them. We as human race is born with a free will. The choice is ours. The God has given us whatever we deserve. And then he said, the will is yours. You want to choose this path, you go this way. You want to choose this path, you go this way. That's your free will. That's your choice. When I work with my subjects, and I won't call them clients, I would call them subjects. The most important thing that I try to tell them is self introspection. You need to identify yourself. You need to unmask yourself first. Forget about the outer environment. The biggest problem that we have today is we look outwardly. We don't look inwardly.
Yeah.
The problem lies in us. The problem was in me when I realized, no, what am I doing? No one can help me. No one can help me if I don't want to help myself. So that is very important. That is very important. But the biggest roadblock that I face, that even if my subject is working towards identifying himself, but when he is in the corporate sector, he is not allowed to be there. Because the pressure, day in and day out pressure from the corporate sector is so much that even if I want to realize, even if I want to balance my life, I find it difficult to balance my life. So we need, in order to help me or millions of people like me, I would urge through your podcast that the corporate HRs and the corporate leadership should very seriously look into this problem.
Yeah.
It's not about making 4 days a week working or 3 days a week working. It can be 6 days a week working also. It can be 7 days a week working also. If we can balance it, if we allow people work from home, very good. I don't know. Because when you work from home, the pressure increases. Because the corporate leadership knows that when you are working from home, you have that liberty to cheat. I would use that. Pardon me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then you don't have that. Yeah, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are your own boss, you can sit anywhere and work.
Yeah.
But when you are in an office job, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, is it really 9 to 5? I don't
There
think
is no
it is
such
just
thing as
9
9 to 5.
We have those HR policies,
Yeah.
work-life balance,
Yeah.
choose your thing. Is it really working? I'm just asking a general question. Is it really working? It could be. I might sound little cynical.
But it's, I think what
I,
you're
I'm
saying is
just I'm
important.
just
It's
posing a
important to bring that.
question.
Yeah.
We are all aware. We are
Yeah.
all aware. So if we really want to help, it's not about 3 days working, 4 days working,
Yeah.
5 day working. It is about how are we easing pressures.
Right.
We are in corporate sector. It is more about shareholders' value that you create for your shareholders. What is the value are we creating for ourselves,
And for
our people?
Yeah.
We have this World Economic Forum in Davos. We go and talk, discuss about economics, global economics, growth, this, that, industries, climate, everything. Who executes all these strategies?
The people.
People. What are we doing about our people?
Yeah. I have a question on that, and this is usually the question that I ask towards the end. But I want to ask you now: the corporate leaders, the HR leaders that are watching this interview, and also individuals who are struggling with their work-life balance, and they are watching this interview, and if they want to reach out to you for help and probably invite you to to into their corporate into their businesses to help them find that balance better, what's the best way to reach out to you?
Oh, I have a blog.
Okay.
My blog has my email ID, and there's a little form at the end of my blog where they can plug in and reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help people. As we speak, I'm helping multiple people. It's I don't charge at this point in time because my whole passion right now is to create awareness.
You're on a mission.
I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to help people.
Yeah.
I'm on a mission to help the world, and I need people to join me in this mission. And I would really humbly request our corporate leaders and our HR folks to come forward, support the cause. It is very important. Give people time for their own selves. Allow them to be their own selves, and people themselves should start working on themselves. And that's where my book that I have written and compiled talks about some of these very interesting things. Purpose of life. It's a very simple statement. What is the purpose of your life? Is your purpose of life is to earn money? Is your purpose of life to earn fame? Is your purpose of life? Identify your purpose of life. Set your goals accordingly.
Yeah.
And when you are setting your goals, you need to have your goals. The goals that you want to achieve, not the goals what your corporate or what your company wants you to achieve for them. Because those are the goals for them. What are your goals?
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, your blog is yourproperguide.com.
.com
Okay.
www.yourproperguide.com.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Navneet, when you look at your journey over the last, 30, 35 years of the career and, in the banking industry, and then the way the transitions happened, who would you like to thank or give credit to for the awakening that you had yourself? Now you're helping others, but for your own awakening.
See, I had a very successful career, to be very honest. I have no regrets in my life, and never ever one should have regrets. Good, bad, ugly, never have regrets. Because that's a journey that you were meant to go through. That was a journey written for you. So whether it is good journey, bad journey, never have any regrets. Learn from those things. So to be very honest, did anyone from the core, before I say that, let me say that I have had wonderful bosses throughout in my career.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to have bosses who gave me liberty of being myself. But it was me who did not use it the right way. Having said that, my realization came from me and my struggles, and that's where the realization came in. My realization came in then that when I realized that you are not what you are and what you think. Because you are what you think people think of you. And when those people are not there, you suddenly realize that what you are.
Yeah, it becomes clear because the
It-
frame is gone.
The frame is gone. So
Brilliant.
I unmasked myself. I really unmasked myself.
Yeah. Which brings us to a point which is,
One more thing I will add here.
yes, please.
What unmasked me is some of these books that I read ferociously. I read these books. Robin Sharma,
Yeah.
Ikat Toll, Power of Now,
Power of Now.
of
Yeah.
Ikat Toll.
Yeah.
Then I read Yoganand,
Yeah.
autobiography
of
of
a
a
yogi.
yogi. Amazing. That transformed me completely. That was my realization. And Bob Proctor.
Pop-up.
I did the course with Mr. Deepak Badra
Oh, really?
of Thinking into Results, and Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah. By Napoleon Hill.
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's always on my bedside.
Yeah.
Manifestation and the Power of Manifestation.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So these books, actually, if to answer your question, what helped me in my realization is books, is reading.
And I want to tell the audience right now. So just rewind, go, if you're watching this on YouTube, go 60 seconds back and listen to this list of books again. Make notes because these are fantastic, life-changing books. So thank you so much for those book recommendations as well. Sorry, please carry on. You were saying that.
So these books that I read helped me in my self-realization, and I realized, what am I doing? What am I doing? And as I kept reading, from being a corporate leader, I started becoming my own personal leader. I started changing my lifestyle. I meditate. I started changing paradigms, which I learned while doing my course of Bob Proctor. Thinking into Results is change paradigms. If you change paradigms, you can move mountains if you change paradigms. So I changed my paradigm. I started changing small habits of mine. And that actually helped me that I started enjoying every moment of my life. And it's such a coincidence that someone asked me, so what makes you so happy nowadays? I said, everything. I enjoy every moment of my life. And that very evening, I was going through some reels and I came across a reel of Sadhguru. And the interviewer asked him that, Sadhguru, what makes you happy? And he says, I enjoy every moment of my life, good, bad, ugly. I enjoy my life, that I am alive, so I enjoy everything. So that makes me happy, that every moment I must enjoy.
That's the key, right?
Yes.
That's the key.
But we are not able to find this key because of our struggles.
Yeah. Navneet, I would love to continue this and talk for hours and hours, but I think we have to kind of conclude here.
Yes.
Thank you so much for taking out time and sharing these nuggets of wisdom with us and your journey with us. It was such a wonderful conversation. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for inviting me. And through your podcast and Be Your Own Boss, I'm so happy that my voice will reach out to so many people. And if I have said something which may hurt feelings of someone, my due apologies. That was never an intent. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, they can reach out to me through my blog. And I respect feedbacks. I respect people to come back to me if they need any help. I'm more than happy to help them.
We'll include the links of your blog and your LinkedIn profile.
Yes.
And by the way, just Google Navneet Company and you will find him. He's that popular. So, and he's kind of downplaying it. So Navneet, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was Navneet Company, your ProPer guide. And you've been watching and listening to Be Your Own Boss.